In this video, we will learn about the Reminders module. The Reminders module allows you to send out reminder letters for outstanding invoices. The first thing we need to do is configure our reminder layouts that will be sent out. To do this, we need to go to the WP menu, then Layouts, and then if we go down to Reminders. As you can see, there are various different options. This allows us to cater for different scenarios of who the reminders are going to. For example, a patient that's insured, a patient that's non-insured, alternative billing addresses, and insurance companies, and various different options. If I just want to edit the patient insured reminder layouts, if I click on these now, as you can see, we have 5 different layouts in here. A first reminder, a second reminder, a third reminder, a fourth reminder, and an action letter. We need to make sure that each layout is correct for what we want to be sent out. If I just edit the reminder 1 layout by clicking edit, as you can see, that's now brought up the layout for reminder 1 for a patient that's insured. So we can look through the layout to make sure we're happy with the wording that's going to be sent out. If we want to change any of this, we just simply make any edits we need to. Once we've done, we just save our layout in the normal way. If you need further information on how to edit layouts, please refer to Helix anytime on how to do this. Okay, if I then click cancel. Now we've set up our layouts, we now need to tell the system how often we want to remind for invoices. To do this, we need to go to the miscellaneous menu, then preferences, and then if we go to reminder preferences. As you can see, there are various different tabs in the reminder preferences screen. This allows you to set up the preferences for the different scenarios involved when sending out a reminder. So as you can see, we've got a patient insured option, a non-insured option, alternative billing addresses, solicitors, insurers, GPs, hospitals, and clinicians. Under each tab, it allows you to set the number of weeks, how long you want to set reminders for. So for example, on this patient insured option, we're going to send the first reminder after 4 weeks after receiving the invoice, 6 weeks after receiving reminder 1. If you wish to change any of these preferences at this time, all you do is simply click into the box, remove the number, and type in the number you want it to be. So I'm just going to type in 5. We can also set how many copies of the reminder we want to be printed out, and if we want to send a duplicate copy of the invoice with the reminder. You can then tick if you want to store a copy of the reminder in the patient's previous letters. If you wish to send statements rather than multiple invoices to patients, if you want to remind solicitors, if you want to remind insurers, who you want the reminder addressed to, the insurer or the patient, if you want to exclude deceased patients, and at the bottom of this is quite an important one. Once you've gone through the whole reminder cycle, if you still haven't received payment, you can set it so the invoice is still reminded for until you receive that payment. Once you're happy with all these preferences, simply click OK. Now to see which invoices need reminding for and to then send out our reminders, we then click on the Accounts option, and then we click down to Reminders and then Automatic Reminders. As you can see, it takes us straight into our preferences screen again. As we've already set this up, we can just click OK. If you notice there's a mistake at this point, you can also change the reminder preferences. So I'm just going to click OK. And as you can see, this takes us into the automatic reminder screen. The system has worked out for us which invoices need reminding for and what reminder needs to be sent. On the left hand side, the ones that are ticked are the ones we're going to send out reminders for. If you feel you don't want to send out a reminder for a certain one at this point, you can just simply untick them. The ones that are highlighted in red means that the invoice has been part paid. So this could be that the insurance company has paid and now the patient owes the shortfall. If you realise on the list at this moment in time that there's a patient you don't want to remind for a little while and you want to leave it for a couple of months, what you can do is you can click to the Patients Not to Remind list. If we click into that, we can then click Add to List. If we then select our patient in the normal way, for further information on selecting a patient, please refer to Helix anytime on how to do this. I'm just going to select my patient in the normal way. So now we've selected our patient, we can either tell the system we don't want to remind for all invoices for this patient or just certain ones. So you can click selected invoices and then click on the magnifying glass and select which invoices you don't want to remind for. Or you can just select all, and this won't remind for all invoices for this patient. You can then tell the system how far you don't want to remind this patient for. So say for example I want to leave this for a couple of months. I can either type in the date range here, or I can click on the calendar option, and if I click on March 29th and click OK. If I then want to add any notes as to the reason why I don't want to remind this patient, you could put this in now. And then I click OK. If I now click OK, this patient will now disappear from our automatic reminders list and won't be reminded up until the time that you've mentioned. Once that time limit is now reached, the system will then start working out when the reminders need to be sent out for that patient. Once I'm happy that I've selected all the ones on this list that I need to be sent out, and you're ready to complete your reminders, all you need to do is click Send Reminders. Once you click Send Reminders, this will start printing off the reminders for each of these patients. If you want to store a copy of your reminders in previous correspondence for a patient, just make sure the Store Copy of Reminders is ticked. If you feel you don't need to store a copy of reminders, just untick the option down here. Okay, I'm just going to click Cancel out this screen now. If I want to send an individual reminder to a patient, rather than sending out automatic reminders as a bulk, I can simply go to the Account menu, then go down to Reminders, and then select Individual Reminder. If I select my patient in the normal way, as you can see, this will show you any outstanding invoices that the patient has currently. If there's more than one invoice in the list, all you need to do is select on the relevant one you want to remind for. On this one, I'm just going to select the only one that's there. Then down the bottom half of the screen, it shows you if the patient was last reminded, what their last reminder was, and how many weeks they're overdue and how much they owe. On the right hand side, I can tell the system who I want the reminder to go to. So you can send it to the patient, insurance company, etc. I'm just going to select patient for this one. Then I can select which reminder number I want to be sent out. So on the left hand side we can see no reminders have been sent out yet, so I'm going to select reminder 1. However, if you notice it said reminder 2 or 3, you would just select the next one in line. I'm going to select reminder 1. How many copies of the reminder you want to be printed, you can change this by clicking the up and down arrows. If you want to tick to store a copy of this reminder in your previous letters, just tick that. If you don't, just untick it, and then simply click OK. And then click Yes. If you want to print a duplicate copy of the invoice to send with a reminder, you can click Yes at this point. However, we're just going to click No. This will then complete your reminder in Microsoft Word and print it out for you, and if you've asked it to save a copy in your previous letters, this will then be stored there under the patient. If you want to send an SMS text message to a patient reminding them of an outstanding account, all you need to do is go to the Accounts menu, then Reminders, and then select the SMS text message reminders option. This will then allow you to send a patient an SMS reminder to their phone. There are also reports that you can run under the Account Reminder menu. If we go to the Accounts menu and then Reminders, there's various different reports we can run down here that are quite commonly used when reminding for patient accounts. You can see you have an unpaid invoices despite final reminder, a reminder letter history for outstanding accounts, and an outstanding invoices report. If I just click Outstanding Invoices Report, I can then just put my start and end dates in here either by free typing in the boxes, selecting the calendar, or I can just click Preset Dates, and I'm just going to select Include All Dates. This will then give you a view of all the outstanding invoices you have for that date range. I click OK. This concludes our video on the Reminders module.